This changes everything for the Rams. The Rams have a key defensive player taking the next step, as well as 3 offensive keys for the Rams to succeed this week against the Eagles, and some key personnel changes from both teams that will have a great impact on this game from the last time these teams met in the playoffs. And welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. And if you want to be a part of the journey, make sure to hit that sub button right now and click the notification bell and click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams. And leave a like on this video for the Rams being 2-0 and for this big game against Philly, which Josh and I will be back live for that game. We hope to be up at around 9:50 a.m. Pacific for the 10 o'clock start. We're hoping to get those tech issues that we've had the last couple weeks squared away. If you like this video and subscribe, I heard that those issues will go away. But now to today's main story. Sean McVay praising Byron Young for his play throughout the first 2 weeks of this season. This story is brought to us by Sports Illustrated, and we'll get into it right now. Since the start of the season, there has been no defender more impactful to the success of the Rams than Byron Young. The 2023 draft pick has spent the last 2 seasons quietly putting together an impressive body of work, but with a new role tailored to his new training methods, Young has snuffed out the run while taking quarterbacks repeatedly to the ground. Yes, he has. 3 sacks already for Byron Young in the first 2 games, and he's been a much better run defender this year than he's been in the past. That new training is paying off, and that's huge for this Rams team because we signed Puka Nacua to help with that run defense. He's been a good help there, but you also banked on some internal improvement, and Byron Young is one of the key players that have improved in order to make this Rams defense really be one of the best in the NFL throughout these first 2 weeks of the season here. And the film is translating. On Monday, Sean McVay spoke about Young's game-winning performance in Tennessee, and if he saw anything on film that he didn't see during the game, and we have that quote for you right now. A lot of it you felt live, stated McVay. I think the relentless pursuit, the energy, the ability to be able to make a bunch of different plays in both phases. You guys have heard me talk about it. I think there are certain guys on game day you feel them. I felt him all day. I felt the way that he was able to pursue, to force the ball out of the Titans quarterback Cam Ward's hands a couple times when he was scrambling, his ability to relentlessly play through the echo of the whistle, which was reflected on his sack fumble, his production in the run game to be able to win on some 2-man games. I thought that he was excellent, and the film just confirmed that from Sean McVay. Oh, Byron Young was excellent. He was absolutely dominating throughout that entire Titans game. I mean, it was the Titans. We have to be honest here. That is kind of what we expected for the Rams to dominate the Titans. But Byron Young was one of the key players of that game. Definitely the MVP of the defense, in my opinion. The best defender in that game. We saw Nate Landman got it week 1. He was still good in week 2, obviously. But Byron Young really taking a leap this year. Byron Young stands 6'2", 258. He is 24 years old. He's going to be 25 by the end of the year. The Rams can offer him a deal at the end of this offseason, and he definitely knows that. We've talked about it. The Rams may need to lose one of their key defensive front guys. It looks like as of now that would probably be Kobe Turner, sadly. But Byron Young has looked awesome so far to start this year. 7.5 sacks last year. So he had some good production last year, but obviously 3 in the first 2 games alone, coming off of a 2-sack game against the Titans, which was definitely one of the key reasons why the Rams were able to, 1, stay in the game, and 2, able to win the game, because his strip sack of Cam Ward was kind of the play that helped ice the game over there early on in the fourth quarter as the Rams were making their run to a victory. So Byron Young definitely a key part of that as well. And that is what he did. And also we have some other quotes from Sean McVay here as well on Byron Young's overall work ethic. I think it's just a consistent approach every single day, continuing to still realize what are the elite things I can bring to the table. How am I doing my role within the framework of each call that defensive coordinator coach Chris Shula and the defensive coaches activate on a snap-by-snap basis? As you gain experience and you approach things the right way, that repetition can be the mother of learning. He's seen more things. He's played a ton of snaps going into his 3rd year. He's really made a tremendous impact. He's so coachable, and he's got a relentless motor. Yeah, he does. His motor is one of the things that makes him so great. It's very important. And the Rams are winning because of their defense, plain and simple. A unit that leads the league by allowing just 14 points per game is doing something right, but the offense needs to produce consistently, and the interior has been a weakness that is definitely true. The Rams are winning a lot right now because of their defense. But back to the quote about his work ethic, it's definitely there. It's there. That work ethic is why he's been so good. We heard Jared Verse talk about him changing up his training routine. Now Byron Young talking about changing up his training routine. All key things that lead to positive outcomes throughout an NFL season is very, very important for this Rams team to look out for. And Byron Young right now making the case for Defensive Player of the Year early on in this season. I know I said that for Nate Landman last week, but a guy that gets a lot of sacks, DPOY voters like that. And if Byron Young can end the season with 14, 15 sacks, he'll put himself right there in that conversation, which he's definitely on pace to do as of right now. But we have to see, because he has an insanely tough test against this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line coming up this week. They're by far the best offensive line he will face throughout this entire season, most likely, because the Lions' O-line has definitely been gotten weaker this season. So this Eagles O-line, the best one they're going to face. I can't wait to see how he will fare. And comment down below right now your thoughts on Byron Young throughout this season so far. And do you think it's sustainable? Do you think he can end with that 14, 15 sack mark? I had a hot take earlier in the year that no one on the Rams would have more than 11 because everybody would be able to get at least 5+ on that D-line. But right now, Byron Young definitely looks like he can hit that 15 sack mark to potentially win Defensive Player of the Year. And now we have to get into some 3 main offensive keys for the Rams to be successful against this Eagles team, which we're going to head on into right now. This story is brought to us by Ramblin' Fan. The Los Angeles Rams are 2-0 and must travel to face the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in a Week 3 showdown that will capture the attention of NFL fans everywhere. This is a game the Rams players had circled months ago. It's time for fans of every NFL team to learn who is and who isn't a true early contender in the NFC. The Micah Parsons-led Green Bay Packers have already been anointed as contenders, and it's safe to lump the Eagles into that pre-anointed category as well. But 6 teams are 2-0 in the NFC after 2 games, and 3 of them play in the NFC West. The clash between the 49ers and Cardinals will be another challenge. Yeah, it will. I mean, the Cardinals, we've seen them do this before. They started off 7-0 and they got waxed in the playoffs. I'm not concerned about the Cardinals. The Niners are so injured as well. Now, again, Mac Jones looked good, but it's like if he has to play again, can he keep playing at that high of level? Yeah, the Packers look awesome. I'm totally sold on the Packers being contenders. They've looked awesome. The Eagles you can't count out, and I will put the Rams right there as that 3rd-ranked team in the NFC. The Lions looked a lot better in Week 2 as well, so I think they're going to be just fine as well. So definitely a lot of talent in the NFC, as this article says. The Rams are winning because of their defense, plain and simple. A unit that leads the league by allowing just 14 points per game is doing something right. But the offense needs to produce consistently, and that's where things get tricky. The interior offensive line has been a weakness, not a strength, which spells trouble against a physical Eagles front that can pressure veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford all afternoon. So how can the Rams combat that? How indeed? Well, this article has 3 reasons for you that we're going to get into. Yeah, the interior O-line definitely has not been great. Again, Steve Avila is listed as questionable with that ankle injury, so we will see if he is able to play. Havenstein and Dotson have not appeared on the injury report this week, which is good. So we will have to wait and see about that. Obviously, another blocker in Colby Parkinson, also listed as questionable with that shoulder injury, the tight end. So we have to see if both of them can play, because both of those will be able to help block this ferocious Eagles front. The Rams need rookie running back Jarquez Hunter's speed and power as the first main key. It may come as a surprise, but the same Eagles team that boasts one of the NFL's strongest rushing offenses has struggled to stop the run. Philly is allowing an average of 120 rushing yards per game, 21st in the NFL. Kyren Williams ran 19 times for 106 yards in the postseason, though that was a blizzard and slippery footing may have amplified his effectiveness. Yeah, that is true. The blizzard. The one thing about this game being played in late September, there's going to be no bad weather from what I've seen. I haven't seen any bad weather. I haven't seen any rain. Obviously, no snow just yet on the East Coast, so should be a pretty nice day out there in Philly. If it's a hot day, I actually might give the edge to the Rams because they do practice up in the valley area of Los Angeles, which for those who don't know, can hit highs of 110 degrees in the summer. So if this is a hot one, if it is in the 90s, because Philly does get warm from what I know, this could lead to a Rams little advantage here. But I do agree, Jarquez Hunter needs to see some snaps. I think Jarquez Hunter, even if he gets only 3 or 4 carries in this game, just to have something. And we talked about Blake Corum on Monday being awesome. If you missed that video after this one, go check it out. Blake Corum was absolutely awesome against the Titans. I think the Rams and Coach McVay and LaFleur really unlocked that duo now with him and Kyren. But Jarquez Hunter is a guy where no one has tape on him yet in a regular season game, and I think you might have to pull that out here against the Eagles. The Rams drafted rookie Jarquez Hunter for games like this. While he has yet to see action, he brings serious power between the tackles and enough breakaway speed to stretch the perimeter. The Eagles will be ready for both Williams and Blake Corum, but they won't be as prepared for Hunter. Yeah, as I was just saying, they're going to be ready for Kyren especially. They're going to definitely try to go and force that ball out, so we have to see if Kyren's fumbling issues have gone away. Because the Texans tried a little bit, and they didn't get anything out of him, but the Titans obviously didn't. The Eagles, I know, will for sure. That's the way Vic Fangio likes to play defense, so definitely out there. And with Jarquez Hunter, Vic Fangio, is going to give you all different looks. Jarquez Hunter, just put him in there. I don't think he'll know what look to give him. Just because you can see him running with that explosiveness and speed all preseason, so the Eagles could have their hands full there with him. The second key is the Rams need short routes from wide receivers Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. Philly's secondary has been rather effective in 2025 so far, even after facing Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes. The unit is allowing just 180.5 passing yards per game, 8th in the NFL, and opponents are only averaging 5.7 yards per attempt. With LA's interior offensive line underperforming, deep shots likely won't be part of the Week 3 game plan. Instead, the Rams will need to rely on a passing attack that functions more like a run game, quick routes to Nacua and Adams, hoping one can break loose for a big gain. And either one of those routes can break loose for a big gain when you're talking about Puka and Davante. We saw Puka catch some short passes, same thing with Davante, and those turned into 20 yards so far throughout this year. Both of them, I think, are keys to this game. But for Puka Nacua, standing at 6'2", 212, he actually leads the entire NFL with 18 receptions in 2 games, 221 yards and no tutties. Last week, he had 8 catches for 91 yards, so a very solid game there for Puka. Obviously, fantasy football owners of Puka loved the 45-yard rushing touchdown, as I got them a lot of points as well. And obviously for Davante Adams, actually led the team in receiving last week. 6 catches, 101 yards, and he has 10 catches, 157 yards, and a touchdown throughout this entire season. So both of these guys can break free from routes. Both of these guys are elite after the catch, and that's going to be so necessary for a very surefire tackling team. You don't see the Eagles miss a lot of open tackles. Cooper DeJean being back there as well. Quinyon Mitchell, both being young studs back there. Sidney Brown being pretty good. Zach Bond, obviously, the all-world linebacker. You don't see Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter missing tackles up front. Nolan Smith as well. So all those guys are definitely going to be able to tackle. And for this Rams team, you need to have Puka and Davante, 2 great route runners and runners after the catch, be able to get some of those extra yardage. You may have to be a little bit of yak merchants throughout this game, looking like other teams out there, but it's okay. If that's what we need to do to win, that's what the Rams need to do to win. I agree. I think that you're going to have to go for one deep shot just to test the Eagles' defense, see if they're even ready. If the O-line can't hold up at all, then you can't. But if the O-line can hold up, I definitely think it is worth it to try and go for a deep shot. And the Rams need plenty of production from their tight ends as the last key. So far, tight ends haven't been featured much. Just 9 of the team's 62 passes have gone their way, resulting in 8 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. In last year's playoff meeting with the Eagles, the Rams completed 9 of 12 passes to tight ends for 63 yards and a score. It's clear this offense likes the tight end matchups against Philly. Yeah, they definitely should. It's what worked last year. I don't see why you don't keep on going back to it. It makes perfect sense. And then they're going to be ready for that. The Rams are going to be ready. Tyler Higbee looked more involved in week 2. Davis Allen catching another touchdown looked awesome. And could this be the game, folks, where we finally see the debut of Terrence Ferguson? I would absolutely love that if that were the case. Even if Colby Parkinson is still banged up from week 1, the Rams could turn to rookie Terrence Ferguson, who's yet to make his debut but has serious pass-catching upside. Davis Allen has made the most of his chances. Both of his receptions have gone for touchdowns. And don't forget about Tyler Higbee. The veteran has just 4 catches for 37 yards so far, but against the Eagles in the postseason, he caught 7 of 10 targets for 54 yards and a touchdown. For the Rams to succeed in week 3, Higbee will need to be just as impactful. Oh, 100%. I totally agree. Tyler Higbee needs to be very impactful in this game plan. Still being the starting tight end, he should be healthier than he was at that point last year as well. And keep in mind that was also a blizzard game, so the Rams were probably relying on those short passes to the tight ends a little more than they would normally. But I definitely think it's something you can look into. Again, Travis Kelce didn't look great against the Eagles, but I think that was more so of a Kelce problem than a defense problem. The Cowboys, I don't really remember exactly how Jake Ferguson did. If someone does know, leave that in the comments down below. But if the Eagles are having trouble guarding those tight ends, I definitely think it is worth it for the Rams to try and exploit that, because you got to get any yard you can against this defense. The defense has been pretty good so far. The offense for the Eagles has been a little bit stagnant, surprisingly, especially passing-wise. But this defense is still vaunted. It's still very strong, and you cannot leave yourself any missed opportunities if you're the Rams. And getting those tight ends involved will be key. So comment that down below right now. What do you think the biggest key for the Rams offensively is to succeeding against the Eagles? Whether it's Jarquez Hunter, it's Puka and Devontae's routes, maybe a third receiver getting some more targets, or the tight ends. Leave in the comments down below. I would love to know. But now we have to get into some things that have changed since January for both teams that will impact this game. Personnel changes, coaching changes, all that and more. And this story is brought to us by Rams Wire. And for the LA Rams, some key changes. You got obviously Nate Landman in linebacker. Landman has been one of the Rams' most impactful offseason signings, taking over as the team's primary inside linebacker, a role Christian Roseboom held last season before leaving in free agency. And obviously Devontae Adams, a wide receiver too. The Rams cut Cooper Kupp this offseason shortly after signing Adams in free agency. Adams has made a huge difference at wide receiver, recording his first touchdown and 100-yard game on Sunday. Yeah, both of these guys upgrades at their positions. The Rams just having a linebacking duo of Landman and Spates makes them so much better than they were last year at that position, with Christian Roseboom being in the starting lineup. Even Sean Dolak too. I think Sean Dolak should get some run in this game because I think he's a very, very promising young player for this Rams team. But both of these players are going to make key impacts. Landman obviously having those key fumbles in the Texans game, and Adams being the perfect running mate to Puka Nacua in that wide receiver room so far. Some more Rams changes. Obviously, Poona Ford at nose tackle. Ford replaces Bobby Brown, the third, who left in free agency, as the starting nose tackle. It's early, but he's been an upgrade in terms of the pass rush. Coleman Shelton at center. Bo Limmer got the start at center in the playoff game and is still remembered for getting beat by Jalen Carter on the final drive. The Rams brought back Shelton, giving them a more experienced center. Yeah, they needed to do that. And Tutu Atwell and Jordan Whittington as wide receiver 3. Demarcus Robinson signed with the 49ers in free agency, so the Rams have a new wide receiver 3. Atwell and Whittington have both played meaningful snaps as the number 3 receiver, so they'll both get opportunities. Yeah, they will. They'll both get some opportunities. Again, we'll see who gets more. Tutu Atwell being paid $10 million this season. You would like to see a lot more for that price point, but I think both of them need to get more involved in the offense for this Rams offense to truly be diversified. Again, Tutu Atwell's a guy in this game. Test the defense with the speed. Could break a big one. Obviously, Coleman Shelton is a big upgrade at starting center over Bo Limmer. Again, he probably made the play that lost us the game. I know a lot of times it's not one play, but it really looked like the Rams were going to win that game until Jalen Carter got kind of right past him pretty easily. And Poona Ford, Bobby Brown was good. I liked Bobby Brown, but Poona Ford I think is a better run defender, and we'll see that throughout the year. And he's been good in the pass rush as well. So all three of these players as well are going to be key for the Rams. You go into some Eagles changes. You got Andrew Makuba at safety. The Eagles traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson and have inserted Makuba into a big role as a safety next to Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship. How could I forget Blankenship too? Great ball skills at safety. And we have Jalix, hope I said that right, Hunt, and Josh Uche at side linebacker. Josh Sweat signed a big deal with the Cardinals in the offseason, leaving the Eagles with a big hole at edge rusher. Hunt and Uche are attempting to fill it along with holdover Nolan Smith. And Jihad Campbell at linebacker. Campbell is only a rookie, but he's stood out already for the Eagles as their starting linebacker next to Zach Bond. And Moro Ojomo at defensive tackle. The Eagles still have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, but Ojomo is a starter when they go to their base defense with a 5-man front. Yeah, a lot of these players are going to make key impacts. Makuba has looked really good so far early on in the season as a rookie. Got the interception off the Kelsey drop pass. The outside linebacker, Uche and Hunt are good, but Josh Sweat, obviously a great player. Great signing for the Cardinals, by the way. He's looked awesome so far, but definitely a hole there that the Eagles do need to look to get better at. And Jihad Campbell, the guy that both Josh and I wanted the Rams to draft. Let's hope he does not come back to haunt us throughout this game tonight. He has looked awesome. One of the early contenders for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Ojomo at D-tackle, he's really only been in for the base defense, but he has looked good overall this year. Comment down below what change you think will make the most impact. And also, the Eagles do have a new offensive coordinator in Kevin Patullo, as Kellen Moore is now the Saints head coach. So leave down below in the comments which change you think is most impactful. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Thank you very much for watching as always. Remember to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subs. So if you want to be a part of the journey, hit that sub button and click that notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content. Leave a like on this video for the upcoming game against the Rams and Eagles. Leave a like on the video for Josh and I streaming it yet again this Sunday. Should be up hopefully at around 9:50 a.m. Pacific time, and leave in the comments down below your thoughts on Byron Young and his Defensive Player of the Year case early on this season. Comment down below your biggest key for the Rams offense to succeed against the Eagles and which change you think from last year to this year for both teams will make the biggest impact on this upcoming game. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one, and have a great rest of your day.